Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Garcia, the Associate Director of Employer Relations and Programs at the Shavid Cloudback Center for Career Strategy and Professional Development. Thank you all for joining me today so that we could have an open discussion about how to navigate the accounting recruitment cycles. The first half or large portion of this program this evening is going to be really informational, kind of covering the specifics and general parts of the accounting recruitment cycle as it relates to navigating it successfully and understanding different parts of the timeline and how you can use our department to support your pursuit of opportunities in accounting. The second portion will take place after we conclude the informational segment, and it will involve those who are in attendance today to have an open discussion about navigating accounting recruitment. So without further ado, we will proceed. So we're going to jump right in and have a discussion about the most important necessities to understand and to, as we're learning about it together, kind of reflect on and consider for yourself where you are in this kind of list of winning necessities during accounting recruitment. First and foremost, and it seems very obvious, but some students in the mix of things might miss certain things about having a polished resume. Polished means different things to different students. It might mean that it's up to date only. Polished to other individuals might mean that it is something that an advisor has seen, a mentor has seen, a coach has seen in their network. Someone in the family who works in the field has taken a look at that lists you as a student, your CPA eligibility, your GPA, and relevant experience that's tailored to the opportunities. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more specifically about CPA eligibility when we come around. The second is it's a necessity to have well-developed interview skills. And again, this can mean different things to different students. Well-developed interview skills might mean that you had a mock interview, that you had a discussion with an advisor about interviewing skills once, and you kind of broached the conversation. But to be well-developed means that you're practiced in this regard, and especially in this kind of environment that we're navigating, it requires that you are practiced virtually, practiced over the phone and in person for behavioral questions, for industry-specific questions, and more. So it definitely requires some investment of time and practice. The next step of it is having some sort of plan for networking. And again, networking and making contacts in the field might mean different things to a lot of you. Networking can involve recruiters, can involve mentors on the YU MVP network, which we can have a whole separate discussion on how that's extremely beneficial. It includes also LinkedIn as well, in seeking out those who might be able to give you insight to their experience in the industry, to getting to where you'd like to go and more. But most importantly, something that's missed often is a place to manage your contacts. A lot of students who I've advised in the past have managed contacts just off of the top of their head, have used kind of a decentralized version of it by just having contacts in their phone, but no context to the relationship that they're building with each of these professionals and how it is that they are making the most of those connections and developing those relationships. So it's important to have a way of managing them in a centralized place, sometimes an Excel spreadsheet, sometimes even a Word document, whatever it is to the strength of your own that you can utilize to best keep track of how it is that you're connecting with people when you are and what significance you're drawing from those connections. Another important thing is knowing which path to navigate. Traditionally, kind of working backwards from the first opportunity that you earn. Just before that, of course, is graduation and being CPA eligible with 150 credits. Now, having earned 150 credits at that timeline, it's likely that those on a more traditional path will have had a successful internship the summer before they graduated. Now, it may be their junior year if they intend to graduate with 150 credits by their senior year. It may be their senior year because they're taking an additional year to reach 150 credits. And so there's traditional and then individual paths to go towards earning an opportunity in a full-time role in the field as an entry-level professional. So it's important to consider that while you're thinking of your timing and thinking of those things, working backwards from that first full-time opportunity, it's that internship the summer before you finish and graduate. Before then, a traditional path will have leadership. And leadership is most often a very intentional professional development opportunity that is offered often, again, with the changing landscape of recruitment, to individuals who earn opportunities for the summer before they graduate. They have earned opportunities going through their sophomore year for the following summer. If there are those in the room who are kind of thinking, I'm having trouble visualizing this, the next few slides, we're going to take a look at some of those pathways. So bear with me as we try to explain it today. But again, knowing that there's a kind of continuum of experiences, you may or may not have a leadership experience. You should be seeking to have a internship experience this summer before you graduate. And your ultimate goal, so that you can earn a full-time opportunity, is to be CPA eligible. Another component of being successful in navigating recruitment is having a well-developed LinkedIn profile. It takes time to develop a LinkedIn. It's certainly not something that is built overnight or even in a week, even if you dedicate an excessive amount of hours to building it, because it not only involves having a complete profile with a photo, recent and relevant experience, but also a growing professional network. And so it takes intentionality and an investment of time in order to build that out very well. Another component that is required to be successful is a structured time for your search. They could be considered some days that you say, today I'm going to make time to do some research on different positions, what's out there. I'm going to research some companies, small, mid-size, or large, or even boutique firms as well. Hours that you may commit, or even half hours that you may commit to meetings with career advisors or mentors who you come across, coaches who are in the field that want to instruct you and help you answer some questions about yourself so that you can get to where you need to go. Structuring that time is extremely important because as it slips away, so do your opportunities to develop your skills, develop your resume, etc. And last but not least is knowing your timing. And we referenced this before. Asking yourself, when will I be CPA eligible? When am I graduating? And are these at the same time, or are they at two different times? You're each kind of on different paths depending on what credits you're pursuing and in your graduation timeline. You may be in this room and not have declared just yet, or you have recently declared and it's going to affect your timing for graduation. All of these are important things to consider. And I'll mention this later on again, but it's great to consider these things in partnership with a career advisor from the department. So as mentioned, there's kind of two tracks that you can navigate. And again, these are the more traditional tracks. So if you are on a Bachelor of Science track, you are looking at navigating leadership recruiting coming up this spring for a possible summer leadership opportunity. Some employers, if not most, will only offer this leadership opportunity to those who have already earned an internship opportunity. It will vary. And in the later half of this portion, when we're all having open discussion, we can have a big dialogue about that. Following that would be navigating internship recruitment time in fall 2022. So next year, to look at your summer internship. And then following that, you're looking at full-time recruiting. This resource and the following ones can be found on Canvas, and we'll have a separate conversation coming up about Canvas so that you could take a look at these. And by comparison, the Master of Science track, if you are looking to take the additional year so that you can earn the rest of your credits, follows a similar traditional route that may vary depending on how you're pursuing your credits and what you're doing in order to stick to this timeline, which is one that, again, is more traditional. Something to keep in mind as well is that when you're looking at different kinds of opportunities, they fall on different continuums during the year. Accounting recruitment in general tends to be very far in advance and starts very early fall. As you saw from our timing as a department, our fair that featured accounting professionals and accounting firms happened extremely early in the semester, as early as we could possibly create that opportunity for you all. And so with that recruitment, that's something to consider moving into your next year of, am I looking for my internships? Am I looking for full-time? How does my timing fit into the timing of recruitment? Two other very important resources to consider using that I would strongly advise are looking at the top accounting firms. Many individuals will kind of go forth and think Big Four, they'll think profile that they know from peers, from people in their families or people in their community who are relaying to them handfuls of different firms and places out there where they might be able to get opportunities. These resources that are, again, found on Canvas will link you to each of these sites. There's career sites that are college-based, and there's career sites that are general to full-time, those who are seeking, full-time opportunities. And so there are ones that are available to take a look at on Canvas. And this kind of factors into doing research so that you can be familiar with not only who you might look for applications from, but who you may want to research more for their company culture, for their growth opportunities, who you may want to network. A lot of it stems from how much you know about what's out there and who's out there. Our resources, as it continues, many of you should know if you RSVP'd for this event, if you've ever submitted a resume for review, if you've ever made an appointment with our department and more, it's on YUCL, which you can find at bit.ly/all-caps-YUCL. Many of our resources are linked here, but they are also linked on Canvas, which we'll get to in a couple moments. I mentioned how important it was to do research about the accounting firms that are out there, about the field in general. If you were here last year, you recognize Vault as a resource that we've had for our department. Vault has recently changed hands, no pun intended, to Firsthand, and it's a different platform that achieves the same purpose of providing educational materials and materials for U.S. students to learn about industries, about professionals in industries, about positions, and what companies are out there that you should consider on your search. So it's important to take a look at Firsthand. There is, at the bottom of this slide, the short link of bit.ly/all-caps-SGC Firsthand. Two other important resources, first of which is YU MVP, or the Mentoring Volunteer Program. Many professionals have joined since its launch in early 2020 for this virtual networking platform. It's LinkedIn, but dedicated to this community. And the alumni and professionals who are a part of it know that they're going to be contacted by YU students. And it's important for you to strongly consider creating a profile, navigating the site, and looking for individuals who are just waiting to mentor and coach you and guide you through your processes of getting to your opportunities. The SGC Career Resources Hub at Canvas is another excellent all-inclusive hub for different information and resources that has been developed over the past few months, and if not over the past year or so, to include not just resources for accounting students, but other fields and industries, and is a complete repository of a ton of information that if you haven't looked at it already, I strongly recommend that you do so. And the short link can be found at the bottom, SGC Canvas. We mentioned how important it is to polish your interview skills. The great thing about Big Interview is there will be practice opportunities, not just generally for behavioral questions, but also industry-specific modules that you can use to practice. The great thing about it is that it's very similar to HireVue. And if you haven't heard of HireVue, it is a virtual screening module that many employers will use early on in interviewing processes and recruitment processes, where students or candidates are asked to record their responses. This is similarly structured in that you can record and review your response. And so it allows for you to practice how you sound to yourself, gives you the opportunity to review how you're answering questions, how you're pitching your candidacy, and more. So it's definitely highly recommended that you go and take a look at Big Interview. So for the next steps, and as we wrap up this informational portion and get to the conversational portion, I would strongly recommend it, if you're not signed up already for any resources, that you do sign up after this or sometime this week for YUCL, YU MVP, and the Canvas page. I also advise you log on to Big Interview to begin practicing at one point or another in order for you to get an additional lens to look at your possible candidacy and your skills. And above all, it's really important to schedule a one-on-one, in-person or virtual strategy session with a career advisor in order for you to start that early and often process that I always advise students for, so that you can get a working relationship with an advisor who gets to know you and what path that you're on. All right, so this wraps up this portion. We're going to stop recording, and for those who are listening in the future, you can certainly return to the David Glaubeck Center to make appointments so that you can learn more about this information.